Hey, Zoe. Okay, this one's called More Bears by Kenn, Nesbitt, and illustrations by Troy Cummings. What do you think these bears are going to get into? Ready, set, go. More bears! What? Who said that? The author of the story looked around the room, wondering where those voices had come from. Where those voices of children shouting. Then he went back to writing. As I was saying, this story has absolutely no bears at all. The author was very certain about that. That's weird. More bears! The author tried very, very hard to ignore the children who thought that the story ought to have more bears. Fine. This story had a bear. It was a cute little baby bear strolling through the book looking for... What do you think it's looking for? More bears! 2 bears. There, happy now. An adorable, cuddly, wuddly little baby bear named Mr. Fluffy and his mama bear Stella, who always wore a yellow hat. Now, it happened that Stella and Mr. Fluffy, like all bears, were especially fond of more bears. More bears, of course. The author was thinking that. Just to keep everybody happy, this story should have a Papa Bear. Yay! Whose name, by the way, was Captain Picklehead. And a bear named Uncle Sheldon. You used to have Uncle Sheldon. Who was bald and loved to play the ukulele. Now, where were we? Oh yes. More bears! Stop that! How many bears do you want this story to have anyway? Do you really want to hear about Bobcat Sam, the bear who rode a pony, and Admiral Haversham, the English dancing bear, and Excellent Steve, the bear who wanted to surf? Do you? Wow. Why didn't you say so? In that case, author says he decided that what this story really needed was more bears. Yes. More bears. So the author added Astro Bear, who, by the way, was Bulgarian and always kept a hamster in his pocket, just in case. And then the author put in 3 more bears. Can we count them together? 1, 2, what comes next? 3. Lester, Chester, Esther, and Floyd. Wait, that's 4. Oh well. 4 is okay too. Because after all, this story really needed... What do you think it's going to be? More bears! It needed a bear named Lucky Eddie who juggled carrots. And a bear named Elbow who wasn't very smart and always wore his underpants on the outside of his regular pants. And a bear named 1, 2, 3, which even the author thought was a strange name for a bear. And since this probably isn't enough, the author even added more bears. The author added 6 bears. Can we count to 6 together? 1, 2, 3. What comes next? 4, 5, 6. Great. The author added 6 bears on tiny pink bicycles, 2 bears reading comic books, 1 bear flying across the page in a cape and lederhosen, 3 more bears swinging through trees on vines, a bear in a yellow submarine, several bears making cupcakes, and an entire team of firefighting bears running across the page with hoses, ladders, and party balloons. There were bears hanging from the top of the page, bears sleeping in the corners, and bears standing on top of other bears. There were so many bears in the story that they couldn't all fit on one page. Oh no. It was crowded, too crowded. So crowded that even some bears started pushing other bears off the page and arguing, which made the author grumpy. And when authors get grumpy, they start rewriting, changing the story. In fact, the author was so grumpy, he told the bears to leave. And they did. After all, it was the author's story. They walked off the page. They rode off the page. They swung, surfed, danced, climbed, ran, and even somersaulted off the page. At last the bears were gone and the author smiled. Finally, the author had a story with no bears in it. A lovely story with not a single bear anywhere, just the way the author wanted it. Because, you see, the author was quite certain this story should have absolutely more chickens. The end. That was an adorable story, so thank you so much for reading with me.